I'm Monica Shah from Revenue Breakthrough, and my mission is to change the money conversation for women entrepreneurs so we can really start making decisions for everything that we desire based on what our hearts want and not just what our bank accounts say. Now, to do this, we're going to have to shift our revenue, and for a lot of us, we're going to have to make more of it. Now, what tends to happen that gets in the way of our revenue is this feeling of having way too much to do and this fear that if we do it, balls are going to drop. So just 2 weeks ago, I was on the phone with a client and she was so excited because she had gotten 2 speaking events, one on Tuesday night, one on Wednesday night. The speaking events had gone really well and she'd been trying to get them for a while. And then on Thursday afternoon, she forgot to pick her kids up from school. And she got this call from her neighbor being like, hey, I have your kids here. And she was totally devastated. I mean, like, that's like the worst call to get ever. It's like all of our fear that when I make more money, when I have more success in my business, balls are going to drop. I'm going to start to self-sabotage. Things are going to start to break, and then I'm not going to be able to handle it. And the truth is, we got to prepare when things get busier in our business. Like, we got to actually add more rest and recovery in. We got to be able to know that as we get busier, we're going to have to shift and change some of our actions. So I want to give you some tips today on how to make this easier, how to recover, how to rest after either a big busy period in your business or a big event in your business, and what to expect, and how to make sure that you don't end up robbing yourself of the joy because you get sad or because something kind of falls apart in the process. So I'm going to start with an acronym. It's REST for rest, to make this easier to remember. Now, the R stands for remember. And what I mean by remember is remember that after a high, there will be a low. Remember that after a high, there will be a low. And so if your normal is something like this, and you go into an event and you're super excited, and that event could be anything that's like exciting or different or stressful in your business. So it could be something like you're doing a live event and you've never done that before, a 1-day event or a 2-day event. It could be a talk, like a 45-minute talk or a 60-minute talk. It could be a video series that you're shooting. It could be a webinar that's part of a launch. It could even be just sitting down and getting like a chapter of your book done or 3 articles done. Something that like really causes a lot of excitement and stress and passion. And so you're kind of at a high, either in the lead up to it and in the doing of it. One of the things you have to remember is after that high, there's going to be a low. And for most entrepreneurs, this low happens the day after the event. And the thing is this low can look like really being very critical of yourself, like where you're replaying everything that you did for that particular event that you did, whatever it was, that webinar, the writing, the video, and feeling like you could have done it differently, and feeling like everything was horrible and you should have done it better, even if it went really well. It could look like sheer exhaustion, like feeling like you can't get out of bed or don't want to get out of bed. It can look like sadness or depression. Again, if it didn't go well, then that sadness and depression or disappointment will be there. But even if it went well, the sadness and depression can be there. It can look like feeling confused, like you don't know what to do next and you've lost all plan. It can look like your inner fire has gone out. Like, these are all experiences of the low, like what it feels like. And you might have felt it before. If you have, let me know in the comments. Let me know how you've handled it. And what's interesting is that I want you to know that this is normal. It happens to all of us. And the thing is if what happens if you don't realize it's normal, you can perceive it, you can experience this as being very scary and being something that is not normal, something that is a downward spiral. And it's funny because sirens are going on in the background. I don't know if you can hear them, but that's sort of what it feels like. I think that they're actually like apropos to be in the video right now because it feels like a siren's going off. Like, oh no, something's wrong. And that's what I want you to get is nothing's wrong. What's important is that you remember that that's going to happen and that you plan for it. So how do you plan for it? Well, the next part of this process is E. E stands for emotions and understanding that you're going to have emotions. So For some of you, your emotions are going to be ones, like for me, my emotions are, after I do an event, that I like to really make sure that I get to express the event to someone. Like I get to do a play-by-play on how the event went and how the webinar went and what worked and what didn't work. So I really like to make sure that I have an outlet for that emotion. So I like to do like dinner with a friend or a colleague or a phone call with someone so that I know that I have that planned for myself, so I have that outlet. For other people, your emotions will come up in such a way that you need a distraction. And so what I mean by distraction here is that you may want to do something completely different. Like maybe you want to go to a museum or go for a bike ride or go for a walk or go for a spa day. So doing something that distracts you and planning that in as a way to deal with the emotions and as a way to deal with the low, that could happen. Also, noting that for those of you that have responsibilities, which we all do, but for those of you that have young children or parents that you're taking care of or pets that you're taking care of, know that when your emotions are sort of on this high and then they're on the low, you may forget some of your responsibilities, like my client did. And so remembering to take care of yourself and delegate some of that out. Right? Remembering to tell your partner to pick up the kids, or to ask the neighbor ahead of time to pick up the kids, or ask your brother to check in on your mom that day, so that you can actually have some space to deal with your emotions no matter what they are. And for some of you, you're going to want to see lots of different people, right? Maybe you're an extrovert and you want to go out. And one of my clients just had a one-day event, and she's a total extrovert. And she had 3 of her friends come to the one-day event from out of town and then stay the whole weekend with her. And for her, that was like a perfect way to deal with both the high and have her friends be part of the high, and wake up the next morning and have breakfast with all these people there to help her deal with the low as well. And then we want to get to S. S stands for stopping. And here's what I mean by stopping. We have to plan stopping in. One of my clients was telling me, like, Monica, I get to every Wednesday and I'm supposed to do all this stuff on Wednesdays and I never get it done. And then then I feel bad. Then I end up procrastinating on Wednesday and on Thursday and on Friday, and it can ruin my whole week. And I asked her, well, what are you doing? And she said, on Tuesday night, I go to a networking event and I work all day. So essentially, she would start work at 9, work all day, go get dinner, drive, start the networking event at 7. She was running the networking event, be done by 9:30, and then she was expecting herself to get up the next day and do work again, like nothing happened. And I said to her, what really needs to happen is you need to stop and not start work the next day on Wednesday until 11 a.m. And do whatever you want. Go for a run, go for a walk, stare at the ceiling, watch your favorite TV show, go out, take yourself out for breakfast. Just do something that is for you where you're stopping. And I think that stopping piece is going to be different for everyone. Is it doing a meditation? Is it zoning out? Is it going out with a friend? Is it having some tea and just being in a quiet space? Stopping. So whatever you're doing, whether you're in a busy period or whether you're just after a busy event, you want to make sure that you plan in some stopping time for yourself. In fact, for me, that's the only way I get through my busy periods, is having really intentional stopping time. I know even before events, if I'm doing an all-day event on a Saturday, I usually block from 2 to 6 on Friday where there's nothing there, so that I can have stopping time before my events and then stopping time after. And then the final one is T. T is for touch. And I've actually learned this one over a number of years of sort of working through lots of busy periods for myself. And what I've gotten at is that a lot of our emotion is held in our bodies. So whether it be disappointment or whether it be passion and excitement, they're held in our bodies. And so if you allow the body to release it on its own, it can be sort of weeks that it releases it. But what I love about touch, things like getting body care of any sort, is it allows things to just release from your body faster so that you can recover faster and get back to feeling like yourself faster. So I recommend any kind of healing touch or body work. It could be acupuncture or chiropractic or massage or healing therapy or even spiritual work, as long as it's dealing with the body elements. It is so important to plan that in. In fact, I plan in a massage before all of my major events and a massage after my events. And you guys, some of you might be thinking, but Monica, I can't afford that, right? I'm just starting my business, or I'm on a really tight cash flow. And I want you to know that it doesn't have to be fancy. right? Like I do $20 foot rubs, right? In Chinatown in New York. I was just in Atlanta. I did a $40 massage that was 60 minutes, right? Maybe they're not the best in the world, but they do their trick, right? It's about getting touched and releasing things that you're carrying in your body. So just to recap here, R stands for remember, remembering that after every high, there's going to be a low, and you want to make sure you have a plan for that. E is the first step of that plan, knowing that you're going to have emotions after the event. And what's the best way to handle those emotions? Is it to be with one person? Is it to be with a lot of people? Is it to have a distraction? Or is it to actually go over play by play the whole event? And also, how do you make sure that when you're having those emotions, you're not shirking your other responsibilities? S stands for stopping, knowing that you're going to have to stop. So putting some stopping points in whatever way works for you. And T stands for touch, getting some sort of healing body work to make sure that you move things out of your body. Now, if you like this video, please hit the like button and share it, and also subscribe so that you can get future videos from us. And if you've got questions about your business or if we can support you in any way, please email us at support@revenuebreakthrough.com. And my wish for you is to go make tons of money and make this world a better place.